Balaban. You may not know that name. Pete might. Yeah, probably not, but I'll bet you.
Yeah, you've seen him 1,000.
You know him all over the place. Bob Balaban was in the movie Mighty Wind. He was also in the comedy Best in Show. He ran the show place where they had the dog contest and so forth. He's a little guy with glasses, and he's. Let's see, I wrote this down. He is Andesine. See, when the Kimmer types things on his IBM Selectric typewriter, which requires a special ribbon cassette, the Kimmer sometimes forgets to lower the capital letters case, which is where I type my stuff.
Let me see if it's been delivered.
And
yet.
if I don't lower the capital case, then it comes out with its stuff on. So let me look at the thing here. Hold on.
Also makes you talk about your
77. He's 77 today, and Flounder ordered me a ribbon or a couple of ribbons. I think
it should be here today or tomorrow.
Excellent, outstanding. Well, that's very kind. Anyway, there you go. And one historical note in this year in 1829, Chang and Eng Bunker arrived in Boston, Massachusetts, to be displayed as a sideshow attraction. They were 18 years old. And they were Siamese twins joined at the waist. And you can see the pictures and so forth. And again, before they had the capability medically of doing anything, can you imagine? I can't. I mean, God bless them. Anyway, how you doing? Look out, 3:07 already is. Holy me, it's only the Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder. And Morning Joe, is that Morning Joe back there somewhere? Did I see him there?
Yes, he's here to help me out today.
All right, now, which is really important because, if you want to get... are we on YouTube? And we're on Rumble?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
YouTube and Rumble.
And by the way, did you ever I've had more trouble trying to download my horse videos on Rumble. And someday it just cuts out and it takes forever. I'm wondering,
you might need to re-download the app, which means you'd have to
passwords. No, God. See, here's okay. Look, we don't want to talk about me all afternoon. We're going to talk about Donald Trump. You're going to hear him talking. You're going to hear one of the great sound bites of all time from a guy who lives in I'm talking too quickly. You'll hear a sound bite from a gentleman who lives in Fulton County and is very upset about what's happening here. So we got all that stuff. But first of all, this is what I mean. I'm an educated man, but I have no idea how to suddenly redo. I don't know how to take it off my phone, my app on my phone for the Rumble thing, and then I would know how to put it on again with my passwords. I have to get an app to do the app. I mean, it's just unbelievable, and it would require me to use either Pete or Flounder to figure out how to work my stinking phone. I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, that's not right. Is that right? I mean, how is it possible that a man with my education cannot figure out how to automatically just say, well, I guess I do this, this, and this? I mean, it's unbelievable. And let me ask another question. Let me ask another question for later on, and I'll give you our phone number because this might be fun. See, here on the radio, it used to be, the policy used to be that people would actually on a talk show call in, and then they would be talking. Now, I know. You're going, what, calling? When's the last? In fact, here's my question. Here's first the phone number, 404-741-1230, 741-1230. Here's the question. When's the last time you actually used your phone as a phone? When it rang, did you let it go to voicemail and then look at the voicemail and then text the answer saying, sorry, I was on the phone, talk to you later? When is the last time, or do you ever, how many days have you gone? How about there are people gone for days without actually using their phone every 5 minutes, but never actually speaking on the phone? Just curious? I'll bet that's true. If you're honest, I'll bet that's true if you're honest.
I speak to someone every day on the phone, so I'm different.
Okay, well, again, you and I do. I mean, so I have to talk to you on the phone. Flounder and I just
what
mostly
do you mean you
text.
have to?
Well, it's a damn obligation, mister. And by the way, don't give me this crap about not doing topics. I told you we're going to hear from Donald Trump, hear from the Fulton County guy. We'll talk about whether Trump should go through the debate. Oh, the biggest story in my head today is that this slime bag Jack Smith, the prosecutor, going after Trump for political personal reasons. Wait till you hear how we compare what he is trying to do to Trump compared what he or nobody did to Hillary Rodham P. Stinky Fart Cabbage, and you'll see fundamentally the fix is in. Okay, now where are we standing? Do we have a Rumble update or anything, or we don't know about that? or whatever. And I forgot where we were.
Yeah,
What
we're
doing
live on
about this?
YouTube and Rumble.
Okay. All right. So everybody's okay?
Yep, everything's
Okay.
good.
All right. It's 311. Here's the phone number again, 404-741-1230. 741-1230. Boy, the Democrats are having a ball. I hold out the entire front section of the Al Jazeera Constipation. The front section, huge headline, a blockbuster indictment, and a big color picture of the gang mall queen, disgraced attorney Fanny Chicken Liver, and all of her henchmen after to try to shut down a political case. Anyway, and then this federal court possible option. Inside, it's all text mishap leak. What's next for Trump and 18 others? Charges tested Trump's limits. The whole, now they got all 18, and they got all the pictures and all the bad things they've done. Copying data brings conspiracy charges, and you're going to hear, by the way, the biggest crock of all is the conspiracy charges, and you're going to hear in a couple of minutes exactly how they pulled it off and how they tried to get away with it. And there's this guy, Jack Smith, in the DOJ cases, compared federal and boom. Some history, barely including President Clinton, who also, as you know, was in the big trouble as a liar, but got away with it. He never went to jail for he was perjurer. Got away with it. Got away with this impeachment. Anyway, 312. And first we're going to hear from Donald Trump, who, again, okay, if you don't think this says something about the actual nature of the beginning of this scandal, Donald Trump faces 91 felonies and 700 years in prison. 91 felonies, 700 years in prison. He's been impeached twice. He's been convicted once in a civil case to pay $5 million for a rape case that never happened. So he's been impeached twice, a rape civil case, 4 indictments. 4 indictments, former president of the United States. And how many indictments and investigations leading to any kind of a charge or indictment have we had from the Biden crime family? And President Pence on fire? 0. It's unbelievable. We're going to talk about the search for Twitter accounts and emails and all special prosecutors. And you're also President Pence on fire once again. President Potato Head caught lying about his magnificent background and how he's there on the scene of every major event in history. It's all coming up with Pete and Flounder. And it's only me. It's only the Kiver. And Morning Show helping us out, too, to get your YouTube reactions. 313-1063. Look out. See, I never got, I know I'm the only guy in America who isn't salivating right now about the wonderful musical entertainment here. But God bless him. David Bowie, rest in peace.
Bowie.
Bowie. 2019, David, well, now I don't want to say it.
Bowie.
David Bowie. On this day, 2019, a bandstand where David Bowie played soon after the release of the hit single Space Oddity was given a grade 2 listing. The bandstand was given a grade 2 listing. I don't know what that means. The singer performed from the stand to a small audience in Croydon Road Recreation Ground. The bandstand was the centerpiece of a one-day festival in which Bowie helped to organize and later inspired him to write the 7-minute song Memory of a Free Festival.
Which you would not have liked. So.
Well, that's more information than I've ever really cared to. Anyway, no, it's fine. I'm here to please. This is all Flounder. I want to make Flounder happy because he has to do a lot of stuff all day long, and I keep sending him stuff to do.
Ricky Gervais, right?
Ricky Gervais. I do a funny guy from Britain.
Yeah, he was doing a show once where he's sitting in a bar. And David Bowie's there, and he's trying to tell David Bowie how hard his life is. And, he made a mistake early on, and it changed his life. And Bowie's sitting there going, yeah, I get it. All of a sudden, he starts singing. And Ricky Gervais is looking at him, what are you doing? He just starts singing, and everyone stops and looks at him, and he makes up a song about Ricky right there. Fat little man with the blank nose, fat little man screwed up. And he turns, and there's a piano there, and he literally writes a song right there making fun of Ricky Gervais the entire time.
I'll bet Ricky Gervais got a kick out of it, though, too.
No, he was not happy.
Oh, he wasn't? Oh, my God, I can't believe it. Anyway, by the way, hold on, Rocco. We got an actual phone call from an actual phone. Hold on, Rocco. I'll be right with you. That was David. Oh, by the way, our birthday list includes Madonna. Have you seen her lately? Poor thing. You won't. I guarantee
She's unrecognizable.
You cannot tell who it is.
She's a reptile.
There's not in a million years would you guess who that was if they showed you just a picture of her face. What? Poor thing. I mean, I saw her the other day.
I mean, she caused a lot of that herself by getting the work done.
Well, yeah, did that to herself.
Absolutely. Let it happen, baby. I mean, shoo, Wanga. It's just horrible. And I saw a video of her doing something or other. She's now got a new video coming out, and she had her day, and she's giving orders to the fan. I got, oh my God, I can't look at her. She doesn't look like a person anymore. Anyway, she's 65. And it's hard to tell anything about her with the way what she did to her face. But on her birthday in 2005, Madonna suffered 3 cracked ribs, a broken collarbone, and a broken hand riding a horse at her country estate. It was she fell off the new horse in the grounds of her Ashcombe house on the border of Wiltshire and Dorset on her 47th birthday in 2005. She was treated at the hospital in Salisbury, near London. She used to ride horses, I believe, where I used to get my horses down in. Not my horse. I'm sorry.
Salisbury is not really close to London.
Oh, it's actually like 80 miles or something. I guess probably. I think it says here. Anyway, Madonna's 65, and she had a thing in there. Did a thing. And what else? Have we got a little? No, that's fine. I got some. Oh, yeah. Oh, I almost forgot. The other thing about Madonna. Check this out. And by the way, there's
Madonna.
Robin Williams and The Birdcage. By the way, that was a great role. That was a great movie. That was a very funny movie, and he did a great role. Anyway, one more thing about Madonna, but none of these were connected. I have 3 different pieces of paper, 3 different sources, all about Madonna on the same date, which is her birth date. And it says also on her birth date in 1985, Madonna and Sean Penn got married on her birthday. They divorced 4 years later. So there's like 3 different things, and they're all about Madonna, and they're all separate. They didn't add them together. All right, but I did there just for you.
Well,
what's that there?
The Madonna segment of the show, I think, is over now.
Pretty much now. Let's get to the phone, shall we? 404-741-1230. Here's Rocco. Hey, how's it going, man? Welcome aboard. What's up?
What's going on, Cameron? Hey, listen, I want to start a little betting pool.
Yeah.
I want to know how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
I want to say a year.
All right.
Before you give your power of attorney to Pete, Flounder, or Listus, because you can't operate phones, computers, TV.
How about eat me? How about that?
I was going to recommend a great Netflix show I binge-watched over the weekend. It had a lot of horses in it. It was called Godless.
I don't have the app.
Remember, you don't have the Netflix box.
I don't have the box.
Let's say a year you'll be given your power of attorney to one of those three.
I do need somebody to take care of me, preferably
You do.
about a
It's
30-year-old
bad.
Puerto Rican girl. You know?
It is bad. You can't even operate. Okay, 15 minutes ago, I operated a phone. I called you.
Well, I appreciate it, Rocco. You're a great American, my friend.
Have a good one.
Thank you. You too. I don't know why it feels like Friday to me. It's Wednesday, right? I have no idea.
All day.
Just in the last 8 minutes, for some reason, I felt like it was Friday. It doesn't make any difference every day as far as, what we do. We don't have
You
like
still
special-
have to come to work tomorrow, so don't.
I know. Yeah, you too.
Maybe I'll wait till Friday.
Well, in fact, it was Pete asked me yesterday. Of course, the Yankees are in town. There's one more game tonight, 7:00 game, I guess tonight.
7:20.
7:20, and Pete asked me about getting out. This parking lot is where we go. This certain lot here has a very narrow turning area radius where you have to swing way out to the side in order to get in.
Yeah, so when I leave probably 15, 20 minutes after you guys, and what happens is the people coming into the garage
want to park, yeah.
they're taking up both sides of the lane. So where we're trying to come out, they're coming in.
Yeah.
So there's a bit like the day before yesterday, I must have waited 15 minutes.
Last night I did. In fact, Pete asked me if I waited, and the problem is, literally, you have to turn in, and then you have to turn to your left, which would block people trying to get out on that side, and then swing back to your right because it's a very short radius to turn into the gate. And last night I waited. I waited, and then when Pete asked me, I said, yeah. In fact, last night I started yelling at people too, because they know the people know the games, just stuff like that's going to be crowded. They know to cut off you on the left so they can get in before you have a chance to get by them. Because if you get by them, then they can't. They have to wait for you to get by. And everything, like 3 of them in a row, including a couple of women, and I started screaming. I said, get your damn car. I was really screaming, yelling. I up to here. Come on, have a little courtesy. Anyway, and by the way, a new route home on my ways. I couldn't believe it. I love this thing so much. We're going to play Donald Trump. We got till 29. I got like 6 minutes, so don't give me any crap. I love this so much. Every night leaving here, I took it off highway stuff, so no highway stuff on my ways, traffic thing going home. So I can't believe this is almost every night. It's a different route. Some part of it is a different route to get back up the out front, avoiding 285 and 400. And there's one route where on Marietta Highway where I go up to a traffic light to take a left on Atlanta Road. Okay, in Roswell. Right before that is a little teeny Waze all of a sudden says, take a left here. And I look down and there's this little teeny, like a back alley street or something, like 30 feet literally before the traffic light. And I said, okay, I'll trust it. And I took that thing and it wound me around almost through people's backyards. I think I went through a guy's swimming patio and by his pool and cut it all off because of this silly app. How in the hell do they do that? How does somebody know, by the way, take this left 30 feet earlier than you normally would, and how do they know that it's accurate at that time? I don't get it. Rocco just said, I'm going to need somebody to take care of me. I don't understand how it works.
I'm bringing the papers in tomorrow for you to sign.
I swear to, I feel like I don't know how is it possible that they can do that?
How is it possible you can talk about it every day?
All right. Well, screw everybody here. Hey, let's listen to Donald Trump, and then wait till you hear this guy from Fulton County. We're going to play it all. It's long, and I don't care. We're going to play it all. It's magnificent. First, Donald Trump reacting to what they're doing and what he's going to do when he's reelected president of the United States.
This is corruption like our country has never seen before. That is why, as soon as I am reelected, I will appoint a real special counsel, or maybe you'll call it a special prosecutor, whatever you want to call it, you can, to look at all of these bribes, kickbacks, and other crimes, as well as the shameless attempt at a cover-up. Justice will be done. The Biden crime family will be looked at. We have to get there first. We have to win the election. They're trying to step in my way at every path because the one person they don't want to run is Donald Trump.
There you are. He went on to say, Biden's taking bribes. It's just a great. If you ever in your life, guys, have heard and seen and witnessed the events that we've gone through in the last 6 years. I mean, this is part of history that they're going to go back and say, "Oh my God, that must have been unbelievable."
We
what
haven't
happened
seen this since the late early 1800s, Jefferson versus Adams, and how ugly that got. This is stuff from the early 1800s. Bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is, and again, this is almost as bad as when all the big money guys put what's his name into office in 1898 or something, right before the turn of the century, where they controlled politics by just
McKinley.
Yeah, and Warren Harding, was it Harding? Around,
that was in the
1902. I don't, maybe not, but anyway, I mean, it's unbelievable. And again, Donald Trump faces 700 years in prison.
In 20.
These latest. It's 3:27. Should we wait for the Fulton County guy?
No, we got time.
We have time. Here's this guy named Matt Kim, and he's on social media talking as a Fulton County resident who loves Georgia about his reaction to what's going on.
Trump has been indicted in Georgia. For the last 14 years, I've called Georgia home. I have my business here, got married here. My daughter was born in Fulton County. I've been all over the world and most major U.S. cities. If I could live anywhere, I would stay right here, in Georgia. To me, Georgia is the best place in the world. Where people still say, yes, ma'am, and thank you, sir. Where even the liberals go to church on Sundays. And to see the establishment drama brought to my doorsteps, the globalist socialist chaos brought to our community. Last night, when I watched the Fulton County DA smirk while she indicted former President Donald Trump along 18 others on RICO charges like they are part of the Sopranos, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty pissed. And then I read all 96 pages of the indictments. There is nothing in there to get anyone. The DA specifically said that the overt acts listed are not illegal on their own, but because there are enough of them, they can be charged as a criminal enterprise.
Conspiracy.
What do these overt acts include? Questioning the outcome of the 2020 election, for making false statements about the integrity of the election in other states, for asking for email addresses of public officials and sending emails, for hiring forensic data teams to review election results, for requesting hearings to challenge the results, for unnamed people sending emails, and most importantly, mean tweets.
Actually,
this trial
you freeze right there. This is the most important thing in the world right now, and we're going to talk more about this after a break coming up for the bottom of the hour too. But first of all, listen to what he's saying. He read all those documents in there. It's now part of a conspiracy. If you call your state senator saying, "Gee, can you look into this?" If you send an email saying, "I don't really like the outcome of the election. We ought to check to see what's going on here," now you're part of the conspiracy. That's how they and again, not one of those things is against the law. But because everybody did it, well, not everybody, but because they did all those things and they all did them together and then they're charging Trump with it, all those other people are now, just for doing something that's not illegal, suddenly becomes illegal because it's now, quote, a conspiracy.
They're criminalizing questioning the regime. They're criminalizing questioning Democrats, and they're criminalizing being a conservative.
Right, and they're criminalizing a president of the United States whose duty is to make sure that, if nothing else, that the elections in this country are on the up and up.
You said duty.
Oh, I said duty. Anyway, I'm sorry. Here's more with Matt Finn from Kim, who lives in Fulton County.
Nowhere, and they know it. So why all the drama? And why was I so upset? It's not because of the charges. The charges are bullshit. It's because I could see their plan.
Would you get that
I
one?
could feel it working. You got to see the big picture. The play is always geopolitics, always control. The globalist socialist establishment has already conquered LA, San Francisco, Seattle, and Chicago. Where are the Trump indictments? They're trying to take New York, Virginia, Miami, and now Atlanta. Notice they are not indicting him in areas they've already won. It's a squeeze play.
Yeah.
Can you see the map?
Yeah.
The point of these indictments is not to prevent Trump from running for president. Of all the indictments and charges, none of them can prevent him from running. It's not even about preventing him from winning. They see that the poll numbers jump every time an indictment is announced. If they truly believe that Trump was plotting to overthrow the U.S. government, they would focus all of their energy, resources, and personnel on one case and try to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. You don't indict in multiple states with multiple charges with multiple teams of lawyers. You don't spray and pray. The sole point of the indictments is to divide this country, to keep us occupied fighting each other, Republican versus Democrat, man versus woman, black versus white versus brown versus yellow, poor versus less poor. Don't get distracted. It's not us versus each other. It's us versus them. They're not trying to save democracy. They're trying to crush it. If you're watching from Georgia, if you are my neighbor, beware. Look at what they've done in other cities, other states. Homelessness, drugs, and violence. Burning it all down so they can build it back up and gain control. The talking head propagandists will surely plaster the news cycle. This time, we got him. What they really mean is, this time, we got you.
Matt Kim, Fulton County. You're going to hear that again later on today. What a story.
Without the cuss word.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
that's
we dumped that.
Yeah.
Okay, we had
I'll lip that out.
one little part there. And one little word. One lousy word. Come on. 3:32. Give her feed flounder. Hold on. Intro. Look out. Here we go. Look out. At the age of 76, Queen of Soul, one of the best-selling musical artists of all time, sold more than 75 million records around the world. She was diagnosed with cancer in 2010. During her career, she had 15 top 40 hits and 18 Grammy Awards, including Respect, I Say a Little Prayer, I Knew You Were Waiting with George Michael. And in 2010, Rolling Stone magazine, this is kind of interesting, Rolling Stone magazine in 2010 ranked Aretha Franklin number 1 on the list of the greatest 100 singers of all time. Wow. That's pretty special, Aretha Franklin. Let's see, a birthday or two. What have we got here? I got a little something here. The formerly magnificent Kathy Lee Gifford is 70 years old today. I met her in person when I was a TV anchorman in 1982, maybe. And she was gorgeous. Oh, my Lord, she was stunning. Just beautiful. It looked like a piece of candy. I mean, she had a creamy complexion. She was just happy, sweet, nice, pleasant, charming, down to earth. Just a dish. And, of course, her husband, Frank Gifford, cheated on her. Poor baby. Let's see what else we got here. You want to do a thing with the thing? When Elvis died on this day, 1977, at the age of 42 at Graceland, he suffered a coronary arrhythmia, basically a heart attack type deal. And the doctor said at the time of his death, the autopsy showed his colon was twice the normal size of an actual American man. His pill prescribing doctor, Dr. Nick, believes the true cause of the king's death was constipation, and that he just, a little Elvis. Go here. Don't be cruel, baby. And again, when I came to Atlanta 51 years ago, and among other people I worked with at a certain radio station in the morning on weekends was a guy who was you're hearing him sing right now. He was a member of Elvis's and the So-and-Sos. Elvis and the So-and-Sos. Jordanaires. He was a member of the Jordanaires. And he did a Saturday morning show, music show, and I did his news for him.
How backed up do you have to be?
Yeah.
To
well, if you're pushed, your
colon is twice the size.
Yeah, twice the size. Well, he was a big fat load back then. That was all. You know what? It was full. Well, no, I don't even. Whatever. And poor Elvis. It's part of you. All right, we have a phone call. Another actual phone call, proving once again that people actually do use their phones. Here's Scotty, the window guy, the Scotster. What's going on, man? What's up?
Hey, welcome home, brother.
Look up.
I sent you some pictures over the weekend. I ran into another fan from back in the 90s, Captain Kirk.
Oh, that's right. With your window, was it the Windows decal?
We were coming down from Blue Ridge. My wife and I had rented a Airbnb, and we were coming down from Blue Ridge, and I saw a sticker on the side of his gas tank, and I thought it was funny. And so I just kind of sped ahead of him. He caught up, rolled his window down, and said, pull over. So pulled over, and he said, you listen to the camera? I said, yeah, I'm Scotty the window guy. I know you. And he said, he's back on the air. I said, yeah, give him a call. He'd be happy to hear from you.
I'll be darned. Well, thank you for the publicity.
Yeah, I love it. I also got another small point to make. On Hannity last night, Laura Trump was on there.
Yeah.
And she had made the comment that every foreign dignitary that had come and stayed at any of Trump's hotels, restaurants, or anything, they actually, even if it was a cocktail, they gave the money back to the federal government so that they weren't taking any money from foreign dignitaries under the Trump name.
Yeah.
So every bit of money that ever got spent at his hotels that was from a foreign dignitary went back to the government. But not to mention the $400,000 a year that he gave back to the military and worked for $1 a year.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
And let's compare that to the fact that when President Pants on Fire denied that he had anything to do with any business things with his son, the scumbag Hunter, every one of those people at every one of those dinners sent him money. So don't tell me there's no link between, we got the vice president on the phone. I mean, make the comparison as simple as hell. In fact, let's make another comparison while I'm at it right here. In fact, I'm getting a little steamed up here right now. The special counsel Jack Smith, who's trying to send Donald Trump to prison for 700 years, among all of them put together, trying to get Donald Trump's direct messages, his draft tweets, and where he is at any given time, his location information, battling Twitter, now known as X, to get all these records, subpoenaing all the records. Twitter's resistance turning over the information was because of the Justice Department trying to not disclose the request to Donald Trump. Okay, point number one. The Justice Department Jack Smith wanted to get all the Donald Trump's private direct messages and draft tweets, and the Justice Department said, make sure you don't ever tell Trump. Keep it a secret so he won't know, so he won't have a chance to erase them. The company Twitter expressed fear that his direct messages could be covered by executive privilege. Duh, another common point. Information sought by Smith, including any tweets that have been... Okay, here we go again. This guy prosecutor wanted any of Donald Trump's tweets that had been created or drafted and then subsequently deleted, as well as all searches connected to the account. All of them who were deleted is what he wanted. Gee, I don't recall anybody doing that when it came to Hillary Rodham P. Stinky Fart Cabbage, deleting 32,000 of them. I mean, this is unbelievable. The district court found there was a lawsuit on and subpoenas trying to get the emails. The court found that there were reasonable grounds to believe that disclosing the warrant to former President Trump would seriously jeopardize the ongoing investigation by giving him an opportunity to destroy evidence or change patterns of behavior or notify Confederates, the U.S. Court of Appeals ruled. This is unbelievable. You mean, gee golly, you mean like the Department of Justice and the federal Gestapo investigation under Chrissy the Cossack Ray, the disgrace of Atlanta, how they told Hunter Biden's lawyer, they called him and said, by the way, they're coming after that storage locker. And the lawyer said, what storage locker? And they said, well, the one at the West 42th Rochester Avenue. And they said, oh, that storage locker. Well, look, no, don't worry, nothing in there to see. And then guess what? There was no raid on the storage locker. It was too late anyway because they moved everything out, which is exactly what the court ruled should not happen by telling Donald Trump. So they assume Donald Trump is going to steal everything and lie everything and get rid of all the evidence and stuff like Bill Clinton did when he told Monica to get rid of the dress. Thank God she did not. But again, anyway, look at the difference in the way the Justice Department is handling the two families. They're going after his emails, but God forbid you tell him, don't tell him, because then he'll change his behavior. They want to make sure he doesn't change his behavior. Isn't that a little freaky?
Well, it's beyond freaky. It's
holy
Orwellian.
criminy.
Yeah.
Opportunity to change patterns of behavior.
Justice is dead in America.
I don't hear the Liberty Bell. It would sure be nice to hear it crack and all. 3:45. That's a start. It's a start with Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and Joe's helping out, too. Look out. I'm kind of surprised. I'm kind of surprised we weren't going live on Facebook there or something, or Rumble or something or other. Just a minute ago, I was realizing that my headphone wire is kind of all tangled up, and I'm trying to. And I know Founder's looking at me through the glass, and I'm trying to untangle it, and I'm making a fool of myself. It's like I don't know. Like
I wish you would have done that yesterday, because yesterday I mistakenly once or twice left the camera on during the break. So if you would have done that yesterday,
really?
they would have saw it.
By the way, are there other Remember those
No,
pictures?
just the one. There's the one right there.
Well, how did they get the pictures and the audio of the actual show when I was interviewing Trey? What's his
Clay?
Clay Travis.
Well, the video's right there. Like, you see the camera against the wall right there?
I know, but there was an angle from over on the right side of the studio here. I don't know what's going on. Somebody was sneaking something. Anyway, this is Wham. Sorry, this is Wham. It's 3:52. This is Wham here. And by the way, let's do a Flounders Funny. You got a Flounders Funny coming? Let's do one of those here coming up. Sorry. Now, this day in 2007, a fan of the 1980s pop band Wham was silenced after becoming the first noise nuisance to be prosecuted by the Newcastle City Council Night Watch team. A guy named Brian Turner had tormented neighbors by playing the song Last Christmas all night at full volume, including 1 o'clock in the morning and until all day. The magistrates fined him about $300 and a couple of $100 in court costs in Britain. Wham, and a big fan, apparently. I'll play a little Wham here, so it's good,
That's enough.
Well, it's a little.
It's not
Christmas time in the summer.
But I'll listen. If this song was on the radio, I'd be listening for a while. I may not listen to the whole thing, but I'd listen for a while. I mean, it's good music, but it's a little sissified. I don't know. Sorry. Birthdays: Angela Bassett is 65. The Queen Mother, Ramonda in Black Panther. Let's see. Director Erica Sloan in Mission Impossible Fallout. I didn't know there were like 9 of them now, I guess. Angela Bassett, 65. James Cameron, the director and writer of Avatar, Titanic, Terminator, The Abyss, and Dark Angel. James Cameron is 69. He was married to the Linda Hamilton girl there for a while. And let's see. One kind of a sports thing. Holy Crap at Sports with Pete Davis coming up. Pete, are you doing another Holy Crap at Sports podcast later this week?
Friday morning, probably.
Friday morning, sir. On this day in 1954, the first issue of Sports Illustrated was published. The first guy on the cover, Pete Davis, I'll bet you know.
Eddie Matthews.
Eddie Matthews, Milwaukee Braves, Hall of Famer, and Atlanta, of course, but Milwaukee Braves, 1954. Okie dokie. Let's see. Coming up, President Pants on Fire gets caught being a liar again. First, speaking of funny things, how about a little comedy bit? Flounders Funny here. Should we have a little something here for you, sir?
Why not?
All right.
This is a little old school Ron White.
Ron White, you remember.
In Miami, I don't know, it was a couple years ago, so I guess just would not be the word, but I was working there with Fox when Hurricane George hit the Keys. I just thought this was kind of funny. They evacuated the Keys, and everybody left except for, I've been through 2 hurricanes. I was in Hurricane Carla when I was a kid in Houston, and I was real excited during hurricane time, because it's out there in the Gulf and it's dangerous, and I was like, this is cool, until started hitting our house. I was like, this. But anyway, they evacuated the Keys, and everybody leaves except for one guy who's going to stay there and tie himself to a tree on the beach to prove a point. And the point was, he said that at 53 years of age, he was in good enough physical condition to withstand the wind and the rain from a Force 3 hurricane. All right. Let me explain something to you. It isn't that the wind is blowing, it's what the wind is. If you get hit with a Volvo, it doesn't really matter how many sit-ups you did that morning.
I have to tell you, I never was really a huge fan of Ron White, even on the tour with. Didn't he go on the tour with hold on.
Say it.
Hold on. I got to.
Say it.
Jeff Foxworthy. Wasn't he one of the guys on the tour?
On the Redneck Tour?
On the Redneck Tour?
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Anyway, I've never really been a big fan. That's a funny bit, though. That was a very
He's
clever
got some
bit.
funny stuff. He's
I have to admit, I don't think I don't know who I'm thinking of. Who the hell was on that tour with the
Oh,
Jeff
a bunch of
Foxworthy?
people. My favorite Ron Whitey says, when I drink, people learn things.
Is he the one who said, who's the one who says, I got your sign? Here's your sign.
I have no clue what you're
That's the guy. That's the guy who was on the tour with Jeff Foxworthy. The guy who says, here's your sign. And I thought that was Ron White. The new Joe knows. New Joe. What? What did he say?
Ron White was on the Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
Okay. And
Yeah,
I think
you're
he's.
right.
Who's the one who says,
Bill
here's your sign?
Engvall?
Oh, Engvall. Bill Engvall. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, wrong guy. Anyway, well, thank you, New Joe. Was on the thing. All right, I'm sorry. Did I blow that whole section?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. All right, now speaking of comedy, President Pants on Fire got caught again being mocked. Thank God on social media, telling a crowd watching a bridge collapse at Pittsburgh last year that he was all big part of it. He was touting his Biden inflation policy, a wind turbine generator manufacturer in Milwaukee, and he started talking about a bridge collapse. Remember the bridge collapse in Pittsburgh, and the liberals said, "Boy, we got this done within just a few weeks. It was a wonderful thing we did for everybody." So President Pants on Fire is talking about that bridge collapse and goes to say this.
By the way, Pittsburgh is a city of bridges, more bridges in Pittsburgh than any other city in America. I watched that bridge collapse. I got there and saw it collapse with over 200 feet off the ground going over a valley. It collapsed. Thank God school was out.
Actually, he was not there watching the bridge collapse at all. No. Some reactions in congressional candidates and must have happened during one of his long-haul trucking routes. Remember when he claimed he was a long-haul truck driver? Washington Times White House correspondent says he showed up hours later since he was in town on an infrastructure mission. He wasn't there when it happened. He was somewhere else. I can assure you Biden did not personally watch a bridge collapse here in Pittsburgh. My Lord. Another lie. Why is this tolerated? He literally can't get through a speech without objectively lying. If there was only some kind of tracker that could track these presidential lies. Even PGA Tour golfer Hunter Mahan, and tour golfers used to speak a lot because they were all known as conservatives, and then everybody's shutting up because they're afraid of getting doxxed and all the thing with the Live Tour in England or in Saudi Arabia and everything else. So even Hunter Mahan spoke out, the PGA Tour golfer, saying, incredible how often he lies. Realistically, not a gotcha. Joe's been making up his own reality for 50 years. At top of the class. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And of course, and his number one stooge, have you heard about her? Jean-Pierre Corinne, the podium princess. She's black, she's gay, she's a girl. She tweeted out yesterday, investing in America means investing in all of America, says Jean-Pierre Corinne. When I ran for president, I made a promise that I would leave no part of the country behind. When I ran for president? She also called Russia's Nord Stream 1 pipeline Nordstrom, as like the store. Anyway, it's coming up on 4 o'clock. Kimmer, Pete, and Flounder, and New Joe's helping out, too. Look out. Here we go. Here we go. 403, look out. How's it going? It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete Davis and Flounder at the controls, and Morning Joe is joining us here today to help out a little bit, which is nice. So if you want to join, if you're looking on YouTube and you want to kind of communicate with us, feel free. We'd be happy to pass along your comments. We love phone calls, too. Even more fun. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. Here's Def Leppard. Was on to stay in 86. Rick Allen, the drummer with Def Leppard, made his first live appearance with the band after losing his arm in a car wreck. They were at the Monsters of Rock Festival in Castle Donington, England. Def Leppard right here. One-armed drummer. How the hell can you drum with one arm? I'm sorry. You clearly can't do a rat-a-tat-tat of the, of the drum thing.
He does it with his feet. He spent like a year and a half in a room learning how to play drums without an arm.
Yeah.
And then he's able to do certain patterns with his feet, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah. I know of it. I don't think I've ever actually seen him.
There's a YouTube video I'll send you.
Wow, cool. Anyway, that was 1986, first time live after he lost his arm, which is, boy, God bless you, buddy. That's pretty cool. A couple of birthdays. We'll get back to the actual program. Leslie Ann Warren. 77. Just remind me, I should mention that name. Julie Newmar, the original Catwoman. Julie Newmar. You remember Julie Newmar? I've probably never even heard of her.
I've definitely heard the name.
Yeah. Pete, you know Julie Newmar.
Oh,
she was a big girl. What's that?
She was the best Catwoman.
She might have been. She's a big girl, too. I mean, she's like one of the original big-time 6-foot chicks, if I remember.
Amazon.
From the TV series. Michelle Pfeiffer was really good, too.
Yeah, well, she's real slinky. She's a perfect slinky Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer was great in the one with the guy who goes to the...
Michael Keaton.
Well, no, the one where the guy... All right, well, the guy goes to all the Los Angeles Lakers games, and he says, here's
Jack Nicholson.
Johnny Nicholson. And when she was in the movie where Nicholson was the devil, and he came back and had sex with Cher and Michelle Pfeiffer and
the Witches of
Eastwick, and she was magnificent in that one. That was my point.
God, Lord.
I get off my back. I got, so you don't start off in fifth gear.
It's funny you say that because Oscar Perez on YouTube says, a friend of mine recently came across your show, guys, and I quote, have you heard that gay couple on the radio? They are hilarious arguing all the time. Parentheses, Kimmer and Pete. Love the show, guys.
You bitch.
well, it's over now. We're out. Oh, mercy. Anyway, I don't know if I gave her. Julie Newmar's 90.
Damn.
Good for her. Well, anyway, all right, what else we got here? Oh, mercy. Oh, you want to do... by the way... Pete came across a bizarre story. We're going to get to a something that's just really ticking me off. A story of have you heard about the power lifter, a guy who entered the Canadian girl powerlifting event and of course won it by £1 million. And now there's a reaction to that. Also, you'll hear some of our friends at Babylon Bee reacting. Now you can tell if you're competing against a guy in a dress. And the other thing is, wait till you hear about the feminist professor in California who believes that children can identify as a minotaur. Minotaur, yeah, T-A-U-R, minotaur, which is half animal, half human. And wait to hear an example of a kid. Anyway, also, let's do this now. I want Pete mentioned this earlier, and I saw it on my face. It popped up on my Facebook, and I hope I sent a little note in response. We are friends with, although I haven't seen him in years, two of the nicest people I've ever known, especially when you talk about the industry of broadcasting or media in any way. One of the nicest guys I've ever known or worked with. One of the funniest, cleverest, most quick-witted, kind of sarcastically. His sense of humor is really great, but it's also he might laugh at things you have no idea he's laughing at. And that was Tom Hughes, our former morning show guy for years and years and years, married to his lovely bride Kathy, who was a former judge, and they have been together and married for 48 years. And Pete and I were, and I there was, I think there was, I forgot something popped up on my phone, or a picture of them together or something. And Pete and I were talking earlier today before the show started about, here's a couple here, first of all, he's just one of the great guys of all time. He and Steve Holman did the morning show for years and years, morning radio here in Atlanta. And I just love his lovely bride, Kathy, was a judge here in Atlanta, in Fulton County. And they married late. And they don't have children, and they have houses everywhere, and they're happy. No, I mean, I'm not, I'm glad I had my kids, but still, they waited late. They didn't get married at 19 or 20 like high school sweethearts or something. And I don't know, Pete, you and I both kind of remarked about the fact that, boy, they sure did something right, because they're happy, and they're, got to be, they've been married for almost 50 years, so they got to be 75 years old, in that area, and happy and still holding hands when they go out and everything else. And I know you reacted to it too. I just wish them the very best, and maybe they have a lesson for all of us.
I think good advice for young men, whether you want kids or not, get your career started first. Get that out of the way. Set a foundation, education and career going, and then look for a woman. Because if you do it the other way around, you're going to be poor a lot, and that puts a lot of strain on a relationship.
Yeah. Well, anyway, just 48 years together, and I don't know which one of their houses around the world they're in.
There's only 2 houses. Come on. That I know of.
Yeah, they'd never tell you. Anyway, Tom and Kathy Hughes, congratulations, and we're just thrilled for you. And another 50 years together, too. Also, Pete.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
A few years ago, about 25 years ago, somebody took a lawn ornament and threw it through their window or their glass door in Virginia Highlands.
I remember this. Yeah, go ahead.
Right before Christmas.
Yeah.
So the late Jack Kennedy, the late great Jack Kennedy, got the idea that during the Christmas party, he and I would go asking for funds to replace their lawn ornament, which was a gargoyle or something like that.
Yeah.
And those things cost, what, $20?
Yeah.
We raised well over $200. And let's just say a lot of that went to the drinking fund.
Yes, apparently. And who knows? I mean, Lord knows what that was all about anyway. And they were they in the Highlands, or they were...
It was in Virginia. Just such kids being jerks.
Yeah. Anyway, that was fun. 48 years together. God bless them. No, that's just fantastic. Pete Davis has a bad joke. You want to do it here? It's 4:11.
It's more of an observation.
All right, sir.
Which shocked me when I saw it.
All right, sir.
20% of American women are on some kind of prescription pill for a mental illness.
Yeah, which means
80% are walking around unmedicated.
That's right.
I'm not going to be ignored.
Oh, mercy. And what's this about? You found cited a celebrity up in the mountains of Macon or something?
I have some friends who live in Blue Ridge, and they were out and about yesterday, and guess who they ran into?
Well, let's see. Up in Blue Ridge, ran into...
I got 20 questions.
All right, sir.
Here we go. 20
okay.
questions. You and Flounder.
All right. Is it a male?
Yes.
Former actor?
No.
Politician?
No.
Let's see. Athlete?
No. You can help out, Flounder, if you want.
Is it the Rhino?
No, but you're getting closer.
Oh,
somebody that works in our company.
No.
All right, that's 5.
That's 6.
That's 6. I tried.
Joe Biden.
My first one didn't count.
Joe Biden.
You don't start off with 1. You start off with 0. Oh, mercy. So it's not an actor, not an athlete, not an actor, but somebody in the, well, let's see. How about...
I should make it 10
Jimmy, Joey, Johnny?
Who?
Our Fox contributor guy from North Georgia.
Joey Jones.
Jimmy, Joey Jones. Jimmy
I have
Jones.
no idea who that is, but no, it's number 7.
All right, crap. Lord.
No, it's not the Lord either. That's it.
It doesn't.
Do they work in the radio business in Georgia?
Yes and no. So that's 9.
So are they in the radio business particularly?
Yes, that's 10.
All right.
You got 10 more?
Well,
narrowed it down to the radio business.
And it would be a celebrity that we would know, obviously, not just somebody we work in our office.
Hence the name, celebrity.
The name, celebrity. Let's see. Wait, in Georgia.
Y'all have given up already.
I can't imagine. I mean, I'm thinking of the little dweeby guy with the beady eyes on Fox and has a radio show and does the morning show with all those people.
That's very close.
I don't.
No, it's not Clay Travis. He's not beady eyes.
He was also in Texas last thing. I listened to him this morning. I don't know. I give up.
Ben Shapiro.
Oh, no kidding. What was he doing? Speaking somewhere or what?
I think he and his family were doing some Appalachian Trail thing. They were hiking and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
It just sounded like a vacation thing. Oh, it's very cool. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Oh, my God. All right. 4:14. All right. Coming up, you're going to hear, we'll talk about a power lifter, also a feminist medical school professor who says your kids can be a minotaur. Yeah, huh? And she has an example. Also, Rachel Levine, egg producers. Yeah, no more word mom. They're now egg producers. Coming up, that's 14 after 4. Here we go. Bye. still like this silly little song, My Sharona. I thought it was Corona for the longest time. Anyway, hey, it's all in the Kimmer House to go. And by the way, a reminder for you to get your safe at Atlanta Safe House, where I got mine. In fact, just Google them. Look at AtlantaSafeHouse.com and check out all the models of safes they have, from great big gun safes to little teeny ones for your medical records or jewelry and stuff like that, or a handgun. AtlantaSafeHouse.com right here. Ba-da-da-da-da. Give it up. I'm not sure what a Sharona is, but yeah. In 1979, the biggest single of the summer was the Knack's My Sharona. Awarded a gold record for selling 1 million copies, the Knack's Doug Feger wrote the song for his girlfriend, Sharona Alperin, whose picture appeared on the cover of the single. Well, I didn't know that. Anyway, so her name was Sharona, and that's what he reminded Sharona. So I bet when she cheated on him, he probably threw that record out. I'm just guessing.
Projecting.
Well, okay, all right. So no, that was, that could have been a side, okay, dokie. So our. Oh, mercy! Our birthday list includes Rumor Willis. Now, here's what Flounder Sky writes on her birthday list today. Rumor Willis is 35. Dancing with the Stars winner. She's the oldest and naughtiest daughter of Bruce Willis and Demi Moore. I don't know what that means. Is she like a stripper or something? Rumor of the naughtiest daughter?
I don't know. Maybe.
Do we know about her? Is she an actress? I know. I think I've seen her picture.
I think she's done some work before, but I don't know how big of a.
In fact, I think I saw a picture of her that popped up on my phone when they sent me for birthday stuff, and I think she's like 6 inches taller than to me. Doesn't matter. Anyway, Rumor Willis is 35, and
she just posts sexy outfits and stuff.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is she one of those My Fans thing?
I don't see that. It's just like Rumor Willis dresses like Naughty's secretary in New York.
So it's just like a posting social media thing. That's unbelievable. Cool. That's Morning Joe helping out here with the crack thing. And
we learned something about Morning Joe, by the way.
What was that?
That he thinks Clay Travis is beady-eyed.
Well, there you are.
Take that, Clay.
Yeah, Mr. Big Shot. He wasn't exactly bowing and scraping to the Kimmer. He didn't exactly have me his business card. Said, hey, I'd love you to fill in for me one day.
Yeah? Which one's nationally syndicated? You or him?
Yes, exactly. I remember the time I filled in for Glenn Beck once. That never happened again either. They didn't like me at all. In fact, when
Not at all.
how long does this go? When I told him, we're going to do a lot of comedy bits, he said, no, that's not our. I said, oh, well, I'm not your show now. I don't know. I mean, they were freaking the whole time, and they never called me back. Oh, God. Anyway, are you guys fans of the Twilight movies?
No,
me either.
No.
Well, I had a birthday from a guy named Cam Giggandell, who's 41, who played the vampire leader James in Twilight.
Never heard of
So
him.
I never heard of him. Well, for all you Twilight fans,
Moving
right along. Okay, let's do this. By the way, tell me whether you think this is true. I got some newsy things on freaks and pervs. But first, there's a new study. There was a study done by Arizona State University. And it shows that dogs can live longer and healthier if they also, like humans, socialize. The link between social... Oh, I'm going to sneeze, huh? That's it.
Stop it.
Hold on. No, I got to do at least... I guarantee you there's like 8 more in there. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, they found... the professor says where we live and who we interact with is really a strong effect on our health and well-being. And the Center for School of Life Sciences and the Center for Evolution and Medicine found a link between our social environments and our health extends to many social animals with stronger social relationships live longer, healthier lives. They surveyed human parents of more than 21,000 dogs and found social companionship, the largest influence on healthier aging, was 5 times greater than anything else, including finances or pet parents' age or anything else. The Dog Aging Project started 5 years ago, learning how genes, lifestyle, and the environment together influence aging and disease among dogs, hoping it can show insight among humans. later on. Anyway, just a little thing about what research and medicine can do. And now, coming up to the story shortly of the California hospital executive says your kids can be a minotaur. But first, did you hear about the competitive female power lifter who's had it up to here because of a guy named Andres, a 40-year-old tranny, a guy who's pretending to be a girl, who competed in the Canadian Powerlifting Western Canadian Championships over the weekend and won by a mile. The guy pretending to be a girl not only set a new Canadian women's power record, also set an unofficial world record. It's a guy. And she overcompeted by this guy girl. Total weight lifted in squat, bench press, and deadlift resulted in a score of about 600 kilograms, which is 200 kilograms over her closest component. 200 component. Now, a kilogram is what? I don't know.
Well, it's a measure of unit that the Europeans
Never mind
use.
that now. What's the code, honey? Well, it's a series of numbers. No, but I don't know. I forgot to look up a kilogram, as I forgot. Morning Joe, do you know? You should know. You're young. You know
a kilogram is equal to 2.2 pounds.
2 pounds. So this guy girl set a record with, 600. So that's like 12, over a ton of the total lifting, which was 400 pounds heavier and more than the nearest competitor. So it wasn't even close. Well, a competitive female power lifter named April Hutchinson is now talking about this and saying, listen, my boyfriend could basically walk in tomorrow, identify as a female, compete, and the next day go back to being a man again. No proof required, no ID required. Basically going on how you feel that day or whatever gender you want it to be. It's very disheartening, the national record that he broke. Athletes have been chasing it for years. We're talking about top athletes who have been training and training and training. Women quit the competition because they knew the guy was going to be there lifting. It's totally unfair. It's bodies that play sports, not identities. Bodies are biology, not identities that play sports. And by the way, this slimebag powerlifter guy thinks he's a girl, used to mock women. He said, why is women's benching so bad? Bench pressing, I guess. I mean, not compared to me. We all know that I'm a tranny freak, so that doesn't count. And no, we're not taking and talking about Mackenzie, this little girl who's got T-Rex arms. She's like 400 pounds of chest muscle. I mean, standard bench powering and powerlifting competition for women. I literally don't understand why it's so bad. Well, our friends at the Babylon Bee might be able to help. Some subtle signs you're playing against a tranny. Ladies, if you're ready for the game to start, you look over at your opponent and go, wait a minute, is that a dude? Well, they've got some signs to help you figure it out. On the jersey, the name Steve is crossed out and Jessica's written over it. Number 2, when they get hit in the groin, they yell, oh, my balls. It's not it's a good sign. It's not for sure. Another one, you just got scratched by their beard driving to the hoop. Don't want to rush to judgment here, but we're just saying. Here's another one. They break 3 of your fingers during the post-game handshake. Plus, your team lost 514-6. Another telltale sign. Her Adam's apple keeps poking you in the eye when you try to guard him. And another reason you might be playing a sign, you might be playing against a tranny, they can actually make penalty shots. That's a dead giveaway right there. Right there, folks. And then there's the case of Dr. Diane Ehrensaft, a feminist who supports a gender revolution, at the chief psychologist and mental health expert at the Benoit Children's Hospital for the University of California, San Francisco Medical Center. She's a professor at the School of Medicine. She believes that cross-sex hormones are part of chemical sex changes. She claims kids can identify as gender hybrids, including a mythology-inspired creature called a gender minotaur. Kids can change their genders by season and can have different identities depending on their location. She says, we are in the midst of a gender revolution. Our children are leading it, which is a wonderful thing to see. What's your gender? She says, don't answer that till you hear all your options. She had said, one boy came into my office. He said to me, hey, you see, I'm a Prius. I'm a boy in the front and a girl in the back. And she started a meeting, a whole bunch of other gender hybrids, this doctor says. So we have the gender Prius, we have a gender Minotaur. Most of the kids are gender Minotaurs who love mermaids. So make sure you have a lot of mermaid books in your library. If you really think about it, it really works. And they reached out to her at the Children's Hospital for comment, and all they could say was, somebody shut her up. For God's sake, stop her from talking. People are reading this idiot. Dear God, it's 3:30, 4:30, it's 4:30 or 5:30. I don't know what time. It's 4:30, it's 4:30. My God, man. It's Flounder, I think that's your cue. Do we do a break here or something? Probably, maybe. If we feel, we got stuff to do. I guess this thing froze up again? Did your computer freeze? Oh, man, he's ticked off, and I don't want to talk to him now. I'm not going to say a word. I'll just keep doing the show. Let's keep doing the show. Hold on. Something bad is going on in there, and I don't want to bother him while he's sitting there trying to figure it out.
No, sorry.
Did it freeze?
No, one of my music beds froze. So
really?
1 second. Here.
Oh, that's all right. And now, are we want to take a break here, or you want me to keep talking? I'll keep doing the show if you want. If you're trying to figure something, are you okay?
Yeah.
All right, it's 4:30 with a Kimmer Pete Flounder and Morning Joe. That's good. Joe. Oh, we got more stuff coming up. We got actual stuff.
When I come in tomorrow, heads are roll.
Reelected again. And also, we haven't really talked about whether or not, do you guys think that Trump should be in the debates next week?
Yes.
And Pete, what about you?
If he's in the neighborhood.
But I mean, do you think it's, do you have any reaction? At first I said, well, of course he should be. But now with all the stuff's going on.
Well, the funny thing is, I think I heard it on Glenn Beck this morning. He was saying what would be great is if that's when he went in, surrendered.
Yeah,
because it would just kill the election. The debate story would be the second story.
But again,
that's all it's going to be. It's going to basically, the debate is just going to fall into a morass of accusing Trump of this or that.
Yeah, that's right. And the other thing is, obviously, I'm going to watch because this is it's a debate with all the candidates. You're going to get a chance to see them all up there, or whatever, even with or without Trump. But again, these debates are not debates; they're just opportunities for sound bites. You have a minute and a half, and then 30-second follow-up. My policy, and they just give their 30-second sound bites. It's not a debate. It's not guys arguing together. It's not them going back and forth and actually, trying to make a point. And so, I know that's what it's going to be, which is fine. Somebody. Oh, now, in fact, let me ask you this. God, I want to talk about the Rachel Levine thing coming up here. Speaking of freaks, and I never did my history. I'm going to do it later. Speaking of the debates, just out of curiosity, and I wonder if this might be an age level thing. What is your memory? Do you have a memory of any famous lines of a political debate that you really remember and that you think worked? Flounder, we'll start with you.
I don't know if it was a debate line, but when Bush said no new taxes, read my lips.
Yeah, those were, I think he said, read my lips.
Read my lips, no new taxes.
No new taxes. Pete Davis?
Well, of course, there's the Lloyd Benson moment with Dan Quayle about JFK. I knew JFK, you're no John F. Kennedy.
And Dan Quayle was not clever enough to respond. That's what all he should have said was, this is why old farts like you telling people to get off their lawn are not going to be president of the United States, Senator. Time for you to retire or something quick. Of course, you didn't have it. Clara Peller, where's the beef? For Walter Mondale, where's the beef? Because that was a commercial on when he was that day. But again, I don't know. That's the only thing you can hope for is if they do a debate that there might be something clever or somebody screwing up too. Remember, was it Gerald Ford who said
Poland was not under the
not under the like with Jimmy Carter.
Soviet Union. Yeah,
that was not his finest moment.
Hey, speaking of politics, Kevin McCarthy just put out another long-winded tweet about, we're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to get to the full truth. We know about Biden, blah, blah. James Woods just wrote back to him, the Democrats may lie and cheat and steal as easily as breathing, but they know how to fight. All you lily-livered Republicans know how to do is talk. You're never going to do anything, so for the love of God, just stop talking.
Yeah. And the problem is because I still think the fix is in. Let's remember, the special prosecutor was the guy who was in cahoots with the Biden defense team, Hunter's defense team, to hide the policy that would allow him to get away with anything for his other crimes. And it was also the special prosecutor who slow-walked the investigation into tax charges against Hunter for the years 2014 and 2015, which were involving with Burisma. And this is the guy who was in cahoots with them to hide that and cover it up and let him get away with it, giving him immunity and trying to secret the deal, and thank God the judge caught it. So now, how could he therefore now be the special investigator or special counsel for the very case he was involved with trying to fix before? And secondly, now the Attorney General can do anything he wants, unfortunately, but the rules of appointing a special counsel are that it should be somebody outside the government, not a member of the U.S. Attorney staff or the Department of Justice or the Department of Defense or anything else. It should be a retired judge or a professor. I mean, whatever. Anybody not in the government. Weiss is in the government. How can you have the fox guarding the hen house? And he already made a deal before.
The deal's so bad, it took 1 minute for the judge to throw it out.
Yeah, she said, wait a minute, what is this? You mean to tell me you're not prosecuting him on any other charges? Well, Your Honor, the paragraph 742B, I mean, scumbags. This is how much they feel. This is how much they care about you. I mean, it's just absolutely outrageous. And I got one more outrage too. And we'll do. I thought we were going to comedy bit ready if you would, sir, because I may lose it here in a second. Well, I'm serious. I'm really. My head's coming off. Anyway, Admiral Rachel Levine, the man pretending to be dressed as like a girl with the. By the way, he's got to be the ugliest freaking tranny I've ever seen. I mean, dear God. Rachel Levine, who is the Assistant Secretary for Health for the Department of Health and Human Resources Services. This is a major, big-time Charlie, a member of the cabinet and the government, and it's a guy who wears a white wig and goes around in a dress and a girl's uniform because he's a freaking admiral. The Navy made this man dressing like a tranny in an admiral girl's uniform. He goes around wearing high heels and an admiral's girl's uniform and a wig.
Freak.
And guess what now? He is praising the Alaska Gender Clinic, which has promoted revisionist ideas about biological sex, including eliminating the word mother in Alaska from kindergarten through 12th grade school science classes, taking out the word mother. Admiral Levine, the man with a, tallywhacker dressing like a girl, a freaking admiral, Navy, shame on you, went to this Alaska place and said these inspiring people work tirelessly to create a more equitable future, where all those living in America have equal access to life-saving medical care. He promotes radical ideas about biological sex in his gender-inclusive biology. The curriculum recommends child-friendly definitions of terms relating to gender and sexuality. Kids as young as kindergarten should learn about how doctors assign the gender at birth, with babies making a guess, unquote, and included guidance on how to speak to the age group about sexual attraction in kindergarten, using accurate language for body parts and functions without assuming that there are only two sexes and that everyone within a particular sex is the same. It's important, he said. This is Rachel Levine, a freaking admiral of the Navy, dresses like a girl in high heels and a wig. He says the calls strike the word mother from discussions about reproduction, referring instead to them as gestational parent or birth parent or egg producer.
Oh, one more. Carrier.
Yeah, carrier. Egg
which
producer,
is for diseases.
Or carrier. When the mom gives birth, instead, say the term should be when the baby exits when the baby exits the womb.
Where are the women? Where are you women? It's a war against you to wipe you out. Why are you not outraged by that? They're calling you carriers as if you have typhoid.
Eliminate the word mom.
Oh,
in school.
Where's the Inuits?
And by the way, just for the record, he's an admiral in the Navy. Can you imagine an admiral in the Navy at an award ceremony? Let's say your son's killed, like in Afghanistan, by a suicide bomber because your own freaking military refused to give the sniper permission to kill the bomber when he knew it was going to happen. So they blew you up anyway under President Pants on Fire, and then your son's going to get like a Purple Heart awarded, and maybe they decided the Navy admiral be a good person to give a Marine a medal, so they have a Navy admiral giving a medal to the Marine. I swear to God, if I were a father and my son had been killed and this Navy admiral dressing like a freaking girl in high heels were trying to give a medal for anything involving anything in the military, I swear to God, I'd punch him in the face. And I'd rip his stinking wig off and shove it up his butt. And I go right to jail. I go right to be court-martialed. I'll go with a court-martial, even though I'm now civilian. Honest to God, what a disgrace. Can you imagine honoring the military with this creature? God, it's 5:15. Oh, my God. We'll be back. Leah Carrie Fisher. Unfortunately, the force was not to be with them in 1983 when they got married because they got divorced 1 year later. He's now growing older with a new bohemian Edie Brickell, or Brickell, I think it is.
He brought the force on her once because he went to jail for domestic violence.
Yeah, what didn't he? Did he beat her?
There was a domestic violence.
Now wasn't he the one who wrote Kathy's song for her? Or was it?
No, I don't think it was for her. That was long before.
Anyway, he was married to Princess Leia for 1 year, which is probably the smart way to do it. Looking back on my own, like I don't want to make I'm trying to run to the. But again, we mentioned, Tom Hughes and Kathy, his lovely bride. If you just joined us, if you're old time radio listeners in the morning shows, Pete and I worked with Tom Hughes for many, many years. Greatest morning man. He and Steve Holman worked together for years, and just one of the greatest guys ever. And they are celebrating their wedding anniversary, 48 years. And I think that's one thing that I regret. That may be one of my greatest regrets of my entire life. I think, now that I'm thinking about it, of not
marrying Tom.
No, not marrying Tom and Kathy together was kind of the truth. Was not. I always wanted to be a part of a cool old couple. A guy, cracking jokes with his wife, holding hands when they go to the store, and driving a convertible at the age of 90 or whatever, and, tearing through the neighborhood and having party. You know what I mean? Just, God, they're so, look at that cool old couple. And that may just be a baby boomer thing, but my parents were married for 65 years, and I think back then, nobody was getting divorced. Nobody got divorced in my group. We didn't have a divorce.
It's funny you say all that, because I always wanted to be a lumberjack.
Well, anyway, so and now it'll never happen. It's just sad, and I think about, and I think it's probably even worse for women. Think of women who are of a certain age, and Anyway, whatever. I'm congratulating Tom and Kathy on 48 years together. I'm so happy for them, and I'm envious and jealous. And I've always wanted to be married. No, I wanted to be married for the rest of my life and be a cool old couple. And now I'm just going to be a grumpy old bastard.
Congratulating Tom and Kathy, and somehow still managed to bring it back around to you.
Well, I've been working on this. It took me an hour and a half. Almost 2 hours of the show to get there. I got notes and I'm trying to figure out how the hell can I get this to me. Oh, mercy. 454. By the way, this was on TMZ. Social media. Again, I think the cell phone is yesterday's cigarettes. And it's because of social media and people feel they have to react to various things. Here, now, check this out. This is from TMZ. Twitter's home to a lot of ridiculous opinions. The latest trend involving Sandra Bullock might be one of the app's worst. Users are calling for Sandra Bullock to lose her Oscar after the Blind Side controversy scandal, which is erupting even worse today. There's zero evidence that Sandra Bullock, who played Leanne Toohey in the movie, had any clue about the drama behind the scenes.
No one did.
Nobody did.
This is ridiculous.
I know. One user wrote, so Sandra Bullock should have to give back her Oscar, right? The man, do we need to start checking these good feeling stories? The parents blocked $300 in earnings a movie from him getting any of it and gave the money to their real children. Another says, if Michael's allegations are true, then we have to go take the Oscar back from Sandra Bullock and give it to the girl in Precious, or Sandra Bullock should give her Oscar back. She doesn't deserve that blank.
This isn't a thing. You know what this started?
God.
TMZ yesterday said their headline was, Twitter demands that she hand back the Oscar. No, Twitter didn't demand anything.
Yeah.
A bunch of losers on Twitter came out and said, I'm going to make this about me, get outraged about something that doesn't impact my life, and made a lot of stupid posts about the Oscars taking the Oscar back from her. The woman played a role in a movie. It's a movie.
Yeah, she's an actress. It's called acting.
I'm an actor.
My God.
And they made a big deal of these losers, and TMZ goes, Twitter's, and of course Bro Bible picked up, Twitter isn't demanding anything.
No,
losers are.
It's just a social media. Again, it's the destruction button. If you pick almost any issue, whether it's politics or gender issues, or all of a sudden now 40% of all children believe they're tranny or they might be in their neck. I mean, it's all because of the cell phone. People passing along social media reactions and messages, link, everything's all in one big swirl, and it's a big pool. I mean, it's worse than the swamp. Oh, I can't. There we go. I lost my headphones for a second there. Anyway, and the story of the Michael Orr thing, the guy who played the Blind Side, the story of the Old Miss football player. Now they're claiming, they're saying that he threatened to plant a negative story in the media about the family who took him in unless they gave him $15 million.
He did an interview hours before the lawsuit dropped, praising the family and what they did for him.
Yeah.
I think he's broke. Probably I think he's broke. He's getting a lot of bad advice here, and he's so desperate for money. This is what he got. I thought he was. Frankly, he's got a new book out, doesn't he? He shouldn't be making money off that. I guess. And you got to sell a book. You got to say something outrageous in a book.
Well,
or they stole the money. Either way, we don't know.
Yeah, I don't really. They say the lawyer says the Tuohys have always cared deeply for Mike. They're heartbroken over these events and hope he comes to regret. They hope he regrets his recent decisions, making choices in the future. They accuse Michael of threatening that he planned a negative story. The biological son, who was such a big part of the movie, said that text messages with the family showed that he may have known at least as early as 3 years ago he was not legally adopted. It was more of a conservatorship, and that's what he's suing over and asking for money and wants an equal cut of every penny received from the movie that made $300 million. But they say everybody got like 14 grand or something. It was not, for them, it wasn't that big a deal. But the Tuohys are now apparently multi-hundred millionaire people because they own a bunch of restaurants or...
Oh, they were rich before.
Yeah, they're definitely doing great. They have hundreds of millions of dollars, and for them to connive to withhold a few thousand is ridiculous, according to the... Anyway,
no good deed goes unpunished.
It's just horrible. The whole thing is horrible. Excuse me. By the way, coming up, We do have some Flounders Funnies, also Holy Crap at Sports. And before I leave you, the Brookhaven Police Department did an undercover sting against the director of Brookhaven's Parks and Recreation Department, identified as Patrick Nally, who was in his company car paid for by the Brookhaven City people, the Parks and Recreation place. And he apparently has been arrested because he tried to meet up. They had a cop pretending to be a 14-year-old girl. And this Mr. Nally's accused of trying to meet up with her and showed up at her location to find out that the 14-year-old girl that he wanted to have sex with was actually a cop. His name is Patrick Nally. I think he's 50-something, director of Brookhaven's Parks and Recreation Department. I say that only because if you know this man and he is interested in young girls, allegedly, maybe it's something, if you know of him, maybe there's something you should ask your own family.
He's no longer in Pawnee.
They fired him. Yeah, yeah. 5 o'clock. Holy crap's coming up on a Kevin Herp and hoping your phone calls too. Look out. Right a blank. Ready on your dog. Target. I want to go to Vietnam. I want to kill some Viet Cong. Left, road guards out. Curly said, "You're killing me. It's only the Kiver. Look out, 504 with Pete Davis and Flounder. And Morning Show is helping us out here today. Hope you're having a good time. Beautiful weather. The Yankees are still in town. And what was the last day? Got creamed again, I guess. That's just good to see. Anyway, here's the phone number if you want to join us. 404-741-1230. 741-1230. Coming up, you're going to hear from Donald Trump. You'll also hear a comment from a gentleman in Fulton County who is absolutely up to here. And it's very important that you... well, I shouldn't be telling you what to do or to lecture you. I hate people who say that. But to me, this is just a guy. He's a guy. If I don't know anything about him other than he posted these comments, and they're unbelievable. And they get to the point that the reason that they're going after Donald Trump, which would allow him to be put in prison if the 4 indictments are a total of 91 felonies that would put him in prison for 700 years, okay? For what he has done for tweeting and commenting and saying, I don't believe the election, things like that. 700 years. Anyway, and this resident, he's going to make a point that the reason they added the RICO and the conspiracy charges was because they can now use things that you do that are not against the law, such as calling your state representative and saying, gee, I want you to look into this. If you're part of a team of people who are doing a lot of that kind of thing to try to get a goal accomplished, then you are now part of a conspiracy. So if you, honest to God, if he is found guilty, it would mean that Donald Trump and those 18 other people would be guilty of calling people, texting people, emailing people, asking questions, and saying, I don't believe the result of the election. I haven't seen anybody, do a hit from the federal Gestapo investigation on Stakey Big Fat Loser Abraham's house at 6 in the morning. She denied the election and still is. Anyway, we'll have all that stuff, too. So, again, as you'll hear the comment from Matt Kim, he makes a very good point. He read every page of it. It's like 90 pages. He read every page of it, and you'll see the way that they're trying to use this. And by the way, the RICO action for Al Capone, for the gangster, the Tony Soprano and those guys. Not for a political candidate who used to be a former president. RICO Act? Racketeering Act? For denying the election was legit? Come on. God, they're going to look back at us as the dumbest generation and the weakest generation of Americans. Between the political thing where nobody's standing up and saying, wait a minute, you can't do this. Even our own governor said, well, we have a great state for our elections, but he never said it was wrong to go after Donald Trump this way, for the Department of Justice to be used politically for these reasons. The same way that we just made the point a few minutes ago. Where the hell are the women? What's going on in America? Nobody's standing up for what's right. Where are the women saying, wait a minute, you can't pretend to be a women power lifter and I'll lift everybody by 400 pounds because you're a guy in a dress?
That's what Ice Cube put it perfectly. He said, you got to quit worrying what names people will call you. You got to stand up for what you believe in, because we're getting overwhelmed by all these losers and crazy people.
It's amazing. Again, particularly, where are the women? I mean, what they're teaching in schools. I had this story in California where they're teaching where kids can be a minotaur. A boy and the girl in front and the back. Oh, my God. All right, 507.
I just hope the woke mob doesn't go after this Mr. Kim and force him to have to leave Fulton County or something like that.
Well, we will offer him protection right now. I'll guarantee you this. I will guarantee if this gentleman is doxxed or is threatened or anything like that, we will protect you. I will call out the freaking Kimmer Corps, and a bunch of old Marines are going to show up and take care of this gentleman armed to the teeth. Armed to the teeth. I dare you. In fact, I'm like, please do it. I'm looking forward to it. Let's have a freaking fight. I dare you to try to pull something for a guy who stands up for what's right. Honest to God, I'm serious.
As long as it's before 4, because dinner.
Well, I got it. I got the early special.
Yeah, the Piccadilly and the green jello like 5.
Yeah, and this week they're having the cream corn special.
Love the cream corn.
You can all go to hell. How about that? You can all eat me. You can all eat me one after another. You eat me and you eat me.
I'm sorry. All right, you go to Morton's.
I know. All right, here's I have another good steak. Let's play Donald Trump. Let's do a little Donald Trump here, and then you'll hear from Mr. Kim. Donald Trump reacting on Truth Social to what happened, how he feels about the Biden crime family, and what he's going to do when he's reelected.
This is corruption like our country has never seen before. That is why as soon as I am reelected, I will appoint a real special counsel, or maybe you'll call it a special prosecutor, whatever you want to call it, you can, to look at all of these bribes, kickbacks, and other crimes, as well as the shameless attempt at a cover-up. Justice will be done. The Biden crime family will be looked at. We have to get there first. We have to win the election. They're trying to step in my way at every path because the one person they don't want to run is Donald Trump.
But there you are. And it's even worse than that, as you'll hear now from, again, this is Matt Kim, Fulton County resident, and he explains why he's here and how he feels about what's happening.
Has been indicted in Georgia. For the last 14 years, I've called Georgia home. I have my business here, got married here. My daughter was born in Fulton County. I've been all over the world and most major U.S. cities. If I could live anywhere, I would stay right here in Georgia. To me, Georgia is the best place in the world, where people still say yes, ma'am, and thank you, sir, where even the liberals go to church on Sundays. And to see the establishment drama brought to my doorsteps, the globalist socialist chaos brought to our community. Last night, when I watched the Fulton County DA smirk while she indicted former President Donald Trump along 18 others on RICO charges like they are part of the Sopranos, I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty pissed. And then I read all 96 pages of the indictments. There is nothing in there to get anyone. The DA specifically said that the overt acts listed are not illegal on their own, but because there are enough of them, they can be charged as a criminal enterprise. What do these overt acts include? Questioning the outcome of the 2020 election, for making false statements about the integrity of the election in other states, for asking for email addresses of public officials and sending emails, for hiring forensic data teams to review election results, for requesting hearings to challenge the results, for unnamed people sending emails, and most importantly, mean tweets. This trial goes nowhere, and they know it. So why all the drama? And why was I so upset? It's not because of the charges. The charges are It's because I can see their plan.
Good job,
I can feel it working. You got to see the big picture. The play is always geopolitics, always control. The globalist socialist establishment has already conquered LA, San Francisco, Seattle, and Chicago. Where are the Trump indictments? They're trying to take New York, Virginia, Miami, and now Atlanta. Notice they are not indicting him in areas they've already won. It's a squeeze play. Can you see the map? The point of these indictments is not to prevent Trump from running for president. Of all the indictments and charges, none of them can prevent him from running. It's not even about preventing him from winning. They see that the poll numbers jump every time an indictment is announced. If they truly believe that Trump was plotting to overthrow the U.S. government, they would focus all of their energy, resources, and personnel on one case and try to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. You don't indict in multiple states with multiple charges with multiple teams of lawyers. You don't spray and pray. The sole point of the indictments is to divide this country, to keep us occupied fighting each other. Republican versus Democrat, man versus woman, black versus white versus brown versus yellow, poor versus less poor. Don't get distracted. It's not us versus each other. It's us versus them. They're not trying to save democracy. They're trying to crush it. If you're watching from Georgia, if you are my neighbor, beware. Look at what they've done in other cities, other states. Homelessness, drugs, and violence. Burning it all down so they can build it back up and gain control. The talking head propagandists will surely plaster the news cycle. This time, we got him. What they really mean is, this time, we got you.
I tell you, I don't know who this gentleman is, Matt Kim, but
he's a guy with two first names is who he is.
I'll tell you what, pretty damn impressive. And if he gets in trouble for this, I promise you, we'll take care of him. And we'll take care of him. 5:13. Holy crap, at sports is next with a Kimmer, Pete, Flounder, and Joe's filling in too. Look out. Here we go. Sad news on this day in 1948 was the day that Babe Ruth passed away from throat cancer. He was only 53. The Yankees are in town, but we got probably give me a towel. Holy crap, it's sports with Pete Davis.
Braves go for the sweep of the Yanks tonight in Truist Park. Charlie Morton on the mound. Bryce Elder, A.J. Minter, and Kirby Yates combined for the one-hit shutout last night, 5-0.
Yeah.
Mark Bowman of MLB.com tweets, it was the last time they allowed one hit or less over 9 scoreless innings since Julio Teheran threw a one-hitter and beat Jacob deGrom and the Mets back in 2016. Marcell Ozuna, a 3-run blast in the first inning.
Yeah, there we go.
And this is a drive to center field. Bay just lit him up again. To the wall, Bader, that is gone. 3-run home run in the first inning. Rampage continues.
It's unbelievable. I mean, they're so far ahead of any other team, I think, even in history, aren't they? It's unbelievable what they're doing in the first inning.
Thank you to Ben Ingram on 680 The Fan for the call. They hit that off Luis Severino. Ronald Acuna Jr. had a 2-run dinger later in the game. So here we go with the stats. Are you ready?
Yeah.
The Yanks fall to 60-60.
Ooh.
The last time they were 500 or lower this late in the season was 1995.
Oh, boy.
The last time both the Spankies and the Mets were in last place at this time and at the same time was 1967. Meanwhile, the Braves lead all of Major League Baseball in runs scored, on base, and slugging percentage.
Yeah.
MLB Network did a whole show yesterday comparing this offense to the greatest offenses in history, and the Braves stack up pretty well. Even with the 1927 Yankees of Ruth and Gehrig.
Yeah.
Right now, the Bravos are on pace to have the highest team slugging percentage ever. And maybe the first team to ever finish over 500 in slugging percentage. They're around 503 at the moment. The Braves are tied with the 27 Yankees and highest team WRC plus. That's weighted runs created. Also figures in ballparks you're playing in and what era you're competing in. It's pretty good,
Wow.
Yardstick for deciding how good you are. Both teams are at 125 RSC plus. 100 is considered the league average. The Braves have the most runs scored in the first inning average since the wild card era began in 94. Now let's compare this Braves offense to the Big Red Machine of the 70s. Joe Morgan, Pete Rose, Tony Perez, Dave Concepcion, Johnny Bench, and all those guys.
Yeah.
The Braves starting lineup has a WRC plus of 1,153. The Reds just 1,079. Now let's compare them to the 53 Brooklyn Dodgers. Duke Snyder, Roy Campanella, Carl Furillo, Gil Hodges, Jackie Robinson, Pee Wee Reese fame.
Yeah.
Braves have, of course, 1,153. Those Dodgers had just 1,072 RSC plus. And for the ultimate comparison, the 1927 Yankees, considered by many the greatest team ever assembled. Yeah. Ruth, Gehrig, Tony Lazzeri, Earl Combs, Bob Musial. Once again, the Braves WRC plus is at 1,153. The 27 Yankees, 1,094. If this keeps up, the 2013 Braves may become the greatest baseball offense to ever play the game.
The 2023?
No, 2020. Did I say 13?
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's good. And again,
this is what a couple does for each other.
Yeah, and again, well, being gay, we. Are you cooking tonight, or is that on me again, you bastard? Take out the cat. Again, what is how do they compare the two eras? By the difference in the ballparks, or do they take into effect the kind of gloves they were using, where they couldn't catch a ball?
That.
I mean, but
they don't do that.
Anyway, and by the way, just out of curiosity, this guy Severino, I remember the last time I saw him, he was an ace. I mean, he was mowing down people like crazy, and they treated him like crap last night here in Atlanta.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Anyway.
And this nucleus, if it stays healthy, could be around a while. The earliest one of the big position players' contracts runs out in 2027 for Ozzie Albies. Acuna Acuna Jr. signed through 28, Sean Murphy 29, Matt Olson 2030, Michael Harris II 32, and Austin Riley 2033.
I'll tell you, the more I see Sean Murphy playing, the more I like this guy. Did you see him last night? They hit him again, and he just laughed it off. And this is after he's been through so much, and he said, screw you. I mean, I like the guy. Yeah, good catcher.
No Braves player has led Major League Baseball in both home runs and RBI since Hank Aaron did it in 1957 in Milwaukee. Matt Olson currently has the lead in both categories. In case you're wondering what Ozzy is doing in his spare time, now he's on the IL, you may find him at home playing with his pet koi. He loves fish, has a huge aquarium, and there's a big story on him in MLB.com.
Really?
You might want to check
a koi
out.
is a goldfish, right? Isn't that a goldfish?
It's a big one.
Big
goldfish.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. A quick perusal of the New York Post comment section will find you nuggets of joy like this from Sal. Over the last 6 games, the Braves have outscored their New York opponents 56-13, shutting them out 3 times and 1 hitting the Yankees last night. The most surprising stat is the Mets actually managed to win 1 of those games. Atlanta has put on a baseball clinic of how the game should be played, while New York baseball is free-falling with nary a parachute in sight. And by the way, I had to search for the Yankees loss story on the Post Sports page.
Oh, no kidding.
Buried deep down. It was underneath NFL News of the Jets. A story on a paracyclist, a pictorial of LSU gymnast Olivia Dunn. I had to stop there for a second. And the Women's World Cup scores. That's what they put the Yankees below now in the Post.
Holy cow.
Meanwhile, Dodger slugger Mookie Betts was loitering in the on-deck circle in Dodger Stadium August 2nd. And a fan in the stands told him, "You hit a home run, I'm going to name my daughter after you." So Mookie laughed and says, no, don't do that. And the guy goes, "No, I'm serious." And Mookie said, "No, don't do it, bro. Don't do it. Your wife won't like it."
Mookie?
Mookie then stepped to the plate and hit his longest home run of the season off the A's pitcher. After rounding the bases, he stopped and fist bumped the fan named Giuseppe Mancuso. A couple weeks later, Mookie sees on Twitter that Giuseppe has sent him a pic of her birth certificate, and yes, he did indeed name the poor girl after him. Her name is Francesca Mookie Mancuso.
Well, the wife got in and wasn't going to be the first name. You knew that was never going to happen.
Giuseppe says a bet's a bet. Mookie Betts says he got the nickname from his parents, who liked former Hawks guard Mookie Blaylock.
I wondered whether there was a connection, whether he was old enough to have had the difference in ages.
And that's what Pearl Jam's first name was. And the lawyer said, no, I don't think it's going to work. Falcons outside linebacker Ade Ogundeji has been placed on injured reserve. He was carted off the field at the end of Monday's practice. He has a foot and ankle injury. He's just 24, started since 2021, a 5th-round pick from Notre Dame. And now not only can you drink beer at Indiana football games, you can now drink Hoosier Game Day Lager. Hoosier Lager. What's this one?
Let's go Hoosiers!
I knew that was coming. NASCAR lost its way when it abandoned its southern roots, and now the Big Ten seems hell-bent on escaping the Midwest. After over a decade of holding their championship game in Indianapolis, the Big Ten is in talks to move their game to Las Vegas. Because that's what you think of when you think Big Ten.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's the first thing.
Women's World Cup, the buxom British Broads of England beat down the under-the-table Australians 3-1 to reach their first ever final. The English Roses now face the saucy Senoritas of Spain in the title game. And this story reminds me of the old joke with the punchline, "Sometimes, senor, the bull wins." Matador Alejandro Conquero did not conquer this day. He was bullfighting in Madrid. Something went horribly awry. Alejandro challenged a white bull with a pink cape. How he got into a pink cape, I'll never know.
Seriously.
I guess the Fernando the Bull took offense about the pink cape because he sent the Matador flying through the air, and when he landed, the enraged bull was waiting to gore him in the buttocks. Ramming his hard horns in Alejandro's nether regions, other matadors rushed in and saved his life by diverting its attention. The 28-year-old is recuperating in a Spanish hospital. Let me now share the official medical terms for what happened. And I got clearance to say the last word of this.
Well, it's a medical
Can I say that word?
Absolutely.
All right. It's medical.
Yeah.
Doctors say Alejandro suffered a goring in the posterior perianal region, which dissects the rectum through the coccyx and could affect the external sphincter of the anus. Despite the gruesome tale, Alejandro says he feels fine but does not plan on using a pink cape anytime soon. Seems like Fernando found it insulting that he didn't use the manly red cape like they usually do. And on this date, one last thing. 1907, the Washington Post reports that St. Louis Browns shortstop Bobby Wallace, the highest paid player in baseball. How much did Bobby Wallace make in 1907 per year?
1907, $400.
$400?
I don't know. 8,000. 42,000.
$6,500.
What, in 19 where?
07.
Oh, that's like $1 million. That's monster.
That was a lot. 1907, you're right.
Holy cow. Outstanding. And by the way, one other sports note, kind of an unfortunate note. This day, 1920, New York Yankees pitcher Carl Mays threw a fastball to Ray Chapman of the Cleveland Indians. Unfortunately, the fastball hit Ray in the temple, and he was the first and only guy to die from a major league pitch in a game.
Carl!
1920.
Damn it,
my bad.
Damn it, Carl.
526 with Pete Davis. And again, Holy Crap at Sports, probably on Friday morning. Post that best sports
early
thing.
Friday morning, maybe.
Did you hear about the case? I'll read part of this text message for you here. And again, we're going to do a Flounders Funny here coming up shortly. In Florida, in the panhandle of Florida, a 20-year-old man named Keith Agee has been arrested for murder. He murdered an 18-year-old girl named Brooklyn Sims, who apparently was his girlfriend, or they were involved. It's kind of iffy, the whole deal about it, but there's a link. He murdered the 18-year-old girl at their home. And apparently now they have a 2-year-old daughter together, and the police have now arrested the 50-year-old killer's mother, Sheila, because she was in on it. And they've got their text messages. The following conversation, Keith, the boy, says, blank, and again, I'm going to use, they do, there's the grammar and the punctuation and the ebonics is I'm going to read it as it is. Shoot, ain't shoot, ain't do none but cost me money and give me a blank. I'm fin just shoot her. I hate that for her. Both I said I can't take it no more. Mom says, okay. Mom says, I'll call you. Tell the MF if you want to go to jail. I'll tell you when we get close, but don't come and kill her, you MF. He's, don't call Nanny. Don't tell her. She'll try to talk you out of it. This is a mother telling the son how to kill the guy's girlfriend and mother of his child, baby mom. The boy, Ian even gonna tell her I left. Sheila, don't even go there. She won't know you left. They'll tell him. Keith, I was going to wait till she got out. Okay, but there's another thing. If she don't get out of that car, Mama, I have to drag her out. Don't ask me to step out because I'm going to open the door and just shoot her. And Mom says, as long as you don't shoot me, well, hell, if you're getting off work, I'll give you the address over there. You can take me over there now and do it in front of her. The mother says, the kid says, send me the address, and we got it in pencil cut, I deleted my, oh, by the way, erase these texts because I don't want nobody to know I was texting you, stupid blank. And the son, I already deleted mine. Trust me, ain't going to say blank about us if they get caught. Well, it goes on and on and on. Am I going to find her in the back or in the front? Well, stay out of my way. Get off the phone. Needed the I mean, the mother and son were cahooting on text messages how to kill the girl, the mother of his 2-year-old baby. And the mother was 18.
It literally sounded like you were reading Chaucer or Shakespeare there.
He will tup his white ewe. The black ram is tupping his white ewe. I think that's if I'm not mistaken.
Makes about as much sense.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's not. But again, you can't even read. If you read it, you don't get. They don't even. I don't get it. But again, the mother's been arrested now for helping her son murder his 18-year-old baby mama. Hard to believe. Oh, incidentally, this is kind of amusing. AOC, Ocasio Bangbangio Stupidio, the one who was very active in getting people to erase college loans, she owes $50,000. And she's very grateful for the first watershed moment of a first step to get rid of these student loans. Of course, the administration had to go back to the drawing board, and they're still doing it. They're just breaking the law and getting around the court rulings to do it. And again, if you really want to help America and have everybody support the Democrats, how about helping out people with car notes and mortgages and medical bills, not college student loans for taking gender studies and now they can't pay them back? They shouldn't be getting a break.
Why is anybody having to spend any money to try and stop cancer?
I don't. Right. There you go. Exactly. That should be number one. Because a lot of times you get cancer,
it's not even something you did.
Nope. It's over. Yep. Number one. All right. It's a 5:30.
I got a quick funny one. This one's not too long. I think you'll like it.
Little call of action here.
Sometimes you get married, you get divorced. Sometimes you get married, you get divorced. Sometimes you get married, and that person kills you. That's got to be the worst. What are the chances you marry somebody and they kill you? It's got to be a weird feeling. They're coming at you with a knife. You're like, wow, was I off?
Phil Hartman, rest in peace. 5:30, we'll be right back. Look out.
Come on, Phil.
And if elected, I promise to... Oh, sorry. That's very good music there. It's just very, very cool. All right, it's 5:32. All right, everything's fine. We're closing in on it. Anyway, hey, by the way, lock them up. It's not just the Biden family. Dun, 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 dun. No, it's, I mean, come on. Lock up your stuff. Lock up your assets. Lock up your medical records. Lock up your Social Security card at Atlanta Safe House. In fact, I was just Googling a few minutes ago, looking through their website, atlantasafehouse.com. And if not, of course, I've talked about the big gun safes that I bought a couple of those babies. And again, Atlanta Safe House is the #1 professional delivery and installation. Look out. I got you, baby. I didn't know the lyrics to this song for years. I never knew it was what it actually is. In fact, I can't remember what it is. You really got lips. I thought it was really got lips. What I'm doing now. Wow, yeah. The Kinks. That really got me. You got really. You really got me. Yeah, I know, but I thought it was really.
You really got mail. You got a lot of mail.
I got tremendous mail. On this day, 1970, the Kinks' final day of the three-day Yorkshire Blues and Rock Folk Festival in Yorkshire, England, took place with the Kinks, Mungo Jerry, Yes, Ginger Baker's Air Force, and Edgar Winter. The tickets for the whole weekend were $4, which is not too shabby. Let's see, a couple quick birthday thing here. Hold on, see a little bit of the thing there. Steve Carell, Michael Scott from The Office. Steve Carell is 61 today. Also the voice of Gru in Despicable Me movies. And he's married to that blonde actress girl who played one of his girlfriends in the series The Office. And they're still married a long time. And if I'm not mistaken, they still have a little store. Is it on Cape Cod or Martha's Vineyard or someplace, somewhere down there, someplace, and they have a little five and dime store, a little like corner store. People stop in and buy things. I mean, it's unbelievable. And they're there behind the counter. What a story. And they're married, been married a long time. There's another married couple. How come I can't be... Oh, here we go. In 2008, Ellen DeGeneres married Portia de Rossi. So even the two gay girls are 2008 are still married. And Portia de Rossi, by the way, was probably the hottest lesbian I've ever seen.
Yep.
Oh, my God. When she was in Arrested Development and they had her dancing, getting sprinkled on that hose, doing a kind of a wet T-shirt kind of a thing, she was just a mink, man.
When she was in Better Off Ted, being the bossy boss.
Oh, God, yeah. Better Off Ted. And by the way, again, if I don't open it at work, but if you want to Google some of the most filthy, horrible, disgusting, and funny one-liners that were not allowed in the script, just Google Better Off Ted outtakes. And again, why did that only last, I think, for 1 year, didn't it? Or maybe
it was ahead of its time.
It was
I think
way
if it came out now, it'd be a huge hit.
it was it was like Arrested Development or the Larry Sanders Show. I mean, it was just way above your normal standard stuff. Anyway, so happy anniversary to Portia and the girl there. Let's see. A couple of things. I wanted to make one more point about kind of a newsy thing here before we get two track downs. 5:40 on the clock here. The special counsel Jack Smith. Let's see if we can compare a couple of things in history and see if maybe we can make a point here. Jack Smith, the prosecutor, is out to get Donald Trump to put him in prison with 91 felony charges and 700 years possible behind bars. He wanted to get Donald Trump's direct messages, his draft tweets, and his location information. And he went before a U.S. District Court who questioned whether the company Twitter's resistance to give those to Jack Smith was a part of Elon Musk's effort to get cozy with Trump. So the judge already is saying, we don't want Trump to get cozy with Elon Musk over Twitter. Twitter's resistance to turn over the information was due to a Justice Department request to not tell Donald Trump. Okay. The special counsel was going after Donald Trump's private direct messages and draft tweets. And the Justice Department said, now make sure you don't tell Trump. Don't let him know. The company expressed fear that some of Trump's direct messages could be covered by executive privilege, so Twitter didn't want to turn him over, got sued, had to go to court. Well, the information sought by Smith included information on any tweets that had been created or drafted and then subsequently deleted, as well as all searches connected to his account. Let's recall several years ago when Hillary Rodham P. Stinky Fart Cabbage had her 32,000 plus emails subpoenaed under federal court order, and she erased them and got away with it. Nothing happened. When the federal Gestapo investigation, Jim Comey, the FBI director, was in on the fix, called her in to be interviewed. He let her bring in her lawyer. Nobody was put under oath. And he later said, well, she made some mistakes. She violated procedure, but it wasn't against the law, so we're not going to do anything. He had no right to decide who gets arrested or who doesn't. It's none of his beeswax. Anyway, they let Hillary get away with everything about all her emails and all that stuff, and yet the Justice Department told the prosecutor, the special counsel, no, don't tell Trump because God knows, and go after any that he had deleted. So the Justice Department wants him to hide from Trump, and the judge wants to make sure that they get all the tweets that were even created, drafted, and then deleted. The district court found there was reason. Here's another thing. Talk about the fix was in. The court found there was reasonable grounds to believe that disclosing the warrant to former President Trump would seriously jeopardize the ongoing investigation by giving him an opportunity to destroy evidence, change patterns of behavior, or notify Confederates. Now, hold on a minute. They were afraid that he was going to destroy evidence or change his behavior. They're worried about patterns of behavior for the Justice Department. And let's remember, these are the same sons of bitches who called Hunter Biden's lawyer and said, just a heads up. Again, these are Justice Department officials calling Hunter Biden's lawyer and saying, we just got word that they're going to be coming after your storage locker, your storage unit. And the lawyer said, what storage unit? That's correct. Hunter's lawyer did not know that there was a storage locker unit, and they were going to get information out of it and go subpoena it. So the lawyer, being tipped off, had it all changed, and then the Justice Department was told, stay out of it. They never got the subpoena. They never got the warrant. They never went into it. And these are the same people who told the counsel back then, do not interview Joe Biden. Leave him alone. So they told the Hunter Biden people, leave him alone, and they tipped him off to his possible my ass, to all the evidence that would have been hidden in that locker. And yet the same Justice Department is making sure that nobody tells Donald Trump they're coming after his stuff because he might eliminate the evidence. Oh my God, if this isn't the fix, I mean, it's right here.
The whole judicial system is just a farce at this point.
It's unbelievable. They hide this atrocity from the guy they're after. And what could he possibly find out that's not already known? Trump's never tried to hide anything. This is just unbelievable.
They destroyed our belief and faith in every American institution.
Honestly, we don't. We need a split. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to put up with it. I'm not going to allow it.
There's 100 million plus of us. We are not going to live under a government we don't want to live under.
Yep.
It's simple as that.
And if there is a thing, I'm in. If there's a thing, I'm not going to call for a thing because I'm not even going to define what a thing is, so you can't sue me later. And your freaking FBI agents are going to try to put something in the trunk of my car again. I know it. I just know it. They followed me up into the floor of the freaking parking garage today, guys, and talking into their cuffs. Two guys in suits talking into their cuffs, running down the rest of the pedestrian way down here while I'm parking my freaking car.
Too many Asian cheerleaders in that truck already.
Oh God! Yeah, it's 5:45. Look out, we got more coming up. Look out. Look out. It's only me. It's only the Kimmer with Pete and Flounder and Morning Joe helping us out. 5:48. And this is the Beatles, I'm guessing. There we go.
It's really more George
I'm trying
Harrison.
to remember if I've ever even heard this song. It sounds like one of the other songs that Beatles did later in their careers, but I don't think I've ever heard this one.
What are you talking about? It's on the White, it's on the White album.
Well, what do I know? White My Guitar, I guess. Wild My Guitar. Anyway, 1968, the Beatles... Working at Abbey Road on George Harrison's song, While My Guitar Gently Weeps. Taking the song from its early acoustic version into an electric version on this day, 1968. And the reason I got distracted because I was looking actually at something else on this very day in history concerning the Beatles. And it may take a moment. After playing small, dingy clubs and receiving disheartening rejections from major record labels, the Beatles were poised to burst into musical history in the summer of '62, but without their drummer, Pete Best, who on this day in 1962 was unceremoniously fired from the soon-to-be legendary quartet, relegated to a footnote in the Beatles' magical journey as Ringo Starr quickly took his place. "The lads don't want you in the band anymore," was reportedly all he was ever told that fateful day. Even now, the reasons for Pete Best's sudden dismissal remain vague. The producer, Sir George Martin, later acknowledged having played a part in Best's firing, however inadvertent, as the Beatles prepared to record their first single. "I decided that the drums, which are really the backbone of a good rock group, didn't give the boys enough support," Martin recalled. He suggested that a new drummer be used in the studio. "I felt guilty because I felt maybe I was the catalyst that had changed Pete Best's life." Brian Epstein, the band's manager, later wrote in his autobiography that he was not anxious to change the membership of the Beatles at a time when they were developing as personalities. "I asked the Beatles to leave the group as it was." As it turned out, though, the other members of the band were more than ready to let their drummer go. Pete Best had shared equally in the Beatles' struggle to succeed. He was never really one of them, though. John Lennon, Paul McCartney, and George Harrison all shared similar sensibilities and humor. Their drummer, though, was aloof from the pill-popping good-time antics of the other guys. So when it came down to a question of their bandmates' musical chops, the Beatles did not hesitate to, well, drum him out. McCartney later said it was a strictly professional decision. If he wasn't up to the mark, then there was no other choice. Still, they each expressed regret about how the matter was handled. Lennon, for one, admitted, "We were cowards. When we sacked Pete Best, we made Brian Epstein do it."
Yeah.
The subsequent success of the band proved unbearably painful to the scorned ex-member, at least for a while. Best admitted to having tried to commit suicide in the wake of his dismissal from the Beatles, but in the end, he became far more philosophical about the experience. "Some people expect me to be bitter and twisted, but I'm not. I feel very fortunate in my life," he told Britain's Daily Mail. "God knows what strains and stresses the Beatles must have been under. They became a public commodity, and John paid for that with his life."
Yeah. I interviewed Pete Best a long time ago. He was a really nice guy.
Really
nice guy.
Did he say anything about that outing or the?
Well, he talked about there was a little jealousy at the beginning because Pete was very good looking, and a lot of the girls would scream for him and not the other guy. So there was a little jealousy thing going on as well during the whole thing. But the best thing he told me was, he didn't get a lot of money, from all that.
Yeah.
And when the Beatles did their anthology thing back in the 90s, they called him up. One of them called him up and said, "Look, there's going to be a check coming your way." He goes, "Okay." So we went to the mailbox one day, and there was a check for well over £1 million or something.
Like, as it should be. As it should be. That's the way it should end. A couple of quick birthdays. The Duck Dynasty family. Jace Robertson is 54 today. You may know the name Emily Strayer. Used to be Emily Irwin as a maiden name, and then she was Emily Strayer. They used to be Emily Robison. How many men has she lied to all these times? Oh, sorry. How many guys she's taken advantage of and they rubbed their face? Oh, sorry. Emily Strayer from the Dixie Chicks is 51. Is she the fat blonde who hated America overseas?
All of them.
All of them did. I guess. Anyway. Okay, what's it? 5:50.
Can I give some breakup advice?
Yeah, please. Do whatever you want. What do you got?
Guy, if you're breaking up with a girl, you've been with her a while, and you want to let her down easy, just go up to her and hold her hands and say, "Honey," look her right in the eye. Say, "Honey, I'd like to take this relationship to the previous level.
The previous level, yes. I don't think that's going to go over too well. Oh, hey, hi-oh. Oh, mercy. What do you want to do next?
We can do some Pete's tweets.
Let's do. We got another. Do we have another funny bit?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Okay, well, let's. How long's the funny bit? We'll time it out perfectly.
About 40 seconds.
Oh, 40. Oh, Flounder. When we do these comedy bits, is to give me.
Well, this is your favorite, Anthony Jeselnik.
Why don't we do this? Let's do the funny bit first, and then we'll do Pete's tweets to the end.
Okay, we can do that. All right, it's 5:53. Anthony Jeselnik. It looks like Jeselnik, but it's pronounced
now,
Jeselnik.
Somebody said earlier, some guy named Mike says that Flounder's pronunciation is the correct one.
Yeah, and he actually says it in this one right here. So we'll.
Okay.
We'll
I've heard the announcers on the XM people do it differently, so I will stand corrected and happily. I like to hear. I love this guy's comedy, so here we go.
And I got a phone call from the festival. They say, Anthony, good news. There's a hotel about 3 miles away. They have one room that just became available. If you get there right now, right away, they will take care of you. So I drive as fast as I can. I get there first. Guy behind the front desk says, yes, Mr. Jeselnik. We do have one room available, but by law, I have to tell you that earlier this afternoon, 2 prostitutes overdosed in that bed. And I said, well, how much more is that?
See what I mean about that?
Damn it.
He's playing across the street on September 15th. We'll have to get tickets.
It'd be unbelievable. He's a very, very, very funny guy.
And guess who's coming to the Atlantic Civic Center October 29th?
I have no idea.
Ron Swanson.
Oh, my God. Does he do a traveling show?
Yes. He's a comedian. Yes.
I would definitely go check that out.
He does stand-up?
He says
or
he's going to
show
he does the whole stand-up thing. Like he says he's going to towns that have meats and mustards.
Well, he's famous. He said, yes, with my breakfast, I like all your bacon. And on the chance that you misunderstood me, I mean, I want all your bacon.
All the bacon
you have in the place. Yeah.
All right, Pete's tweets. Here we go.
There
you
we
ready?
go. Yeah, I'm ready now. There we go.
No,
Hey-ho. Again, some of the tweeters wanted Sandra Bullock to give back her Oscar for Blindside. Those are some of the idiots tweeting these days, but here are some more.
There's an idiot reading their tweet.
Thank you.
Reddit Lies tweets, when I use a woman's bathroom, I get super excited because it's so affirming. I tend to get euphoria boners under my skirt. I try to hide it, but sometimes the other women see it, and it's embarrassing. All right. ITV News headline. British man killed by shark whilst honeymooning in Australia. Reports say he didn't suffer for too long as he'd only been married 5 days.
I don't think that's what they meant. It's not the good parts.
Another example of why you don't hate the news media enough.
Yeah.
The Toronto Globe and Mail says the far right's fixation on pedophilia is dangerous.
The far right is dangerous fixation on pedophilia.
Yeah. Hopefully that's true. Hopefully it is dangerous for pedos.
Yeah, I would think so. They don't get cured, They don't change.
No. Daryl tweets, I'm not a fan of elevator music. It's bad on so many levels.
So many levels, ladies and gentlemen.
Chris says he was at the Bear Claw Winery in Blue Ridge, and as the live music was winding up, the musician thanked the crowd and said, drink up, Shriners.
Ah, that's your line.
That's my line, which I stole from George Carlin.
That's right. Drink up, Shriners. Oh, my God. You've been doing that for 30 years that I know of.
The movement is spreading. And did you know that Russian mystic Gregory Rasputin had a daughter?
Rasputin had a daughter. I did not know that.
She came to the United States. She worked as a dancer and a lion tamer in a circus. She died in 1977 in Los Angeles.
I'll be damned.
I had no idea about that. Stefan says, I gave a homeless man $5, and an older lady behind me said, why'd you do that? He's just going to use it for drugs. So I confronted him and demanded he tell me where he gets his drugs for $5. Gary says, sometimes I read a text and I think, what a psycho. Then I press send.
See what I mean?
Not the Bee tweets about a man in Colorado who got pulled over by the police and switched seats with his passenger to avoid the DUI. Problem was, his passenger was his dog. You imagine the cop walking up there and you look at, there's a dog looking up at you.
They're behind the wheel, you know.
And Stefan says some things are better left alone. Like me, for instance. And there's Pete Sweets.
There's Pete Sweets, 5:58. Talk about the fat airline chick. Do you have that soundbite? I think we may have a little sound here. Pete found this story. A large woman on Southwest Airlines looking for her seat, and apparently they tried to do, what did they try to get, say if you need 2 seats because you're really huge? And
they're going to give her a couple seats.
Yeah, and she got ticked off or something?
Yeah.
She got mad. The problem is the audio's a minute.
Oh, I thought it was. Oh, it's no big. Well, we got to play it.
We got
play part of it. Here she is. She's ticked off. The guy tried to help her.
I'm at the Southwest Terminal in Nashville, and I'm not going to lie, I'm pissed. I was sitting there waiting to board, minding my fat ass business, and the lady decides to come from the desk and ask me and my cousin for our boarding passes, me, her, and her husband, saying that she needed to make sure everyone was safe on our flight because it's a full flight. I'm confused. Why do you need to make sure people are safe from us? We're just sitting here minding our business. She wanted to give us extra seats so that everyone can feel safe and comfortable so that the armrest can come down. Are you calling us fat?
Yes.
Saying you're giving us a whole row of seats on a full flight for everyone's comfort, free of charge.
Yeah, absolutely. To help you out, and she got ticked off about it. Oh, my God. Well, you can't do enough. 6 o'clock. Ura, I got to go. You're killing me. Thanks, boys.